Chapter 34, The Story of Anaranya. Vasistha said, the king Anaranya hailed from the race of he 14th Manu in Drasavarni. The great king Anaranya born of Mangalaranya was very strong. He was a special devotee of Siva and ruled over the 7 continents. Having Baragu as his priest, he performed 100 sacrifices. He did not accept the position of Indra even when offered by the gods. O Himavat, 100 sons were born to him and a beautiful daughter Padma who was equal to Lakshmi. O excellent mountain, he was more fond of his daughter than of his 100 sons. He had 5 queens who were endowed with great qualities and fortunes were loved by him over and above his life. The girl entered the prime of her youth in her father's palace. The king issued letters of invitation for the requisition of good bridegrooms. In the meantime the sage Pipalata eagerly hastening back to his hermitage saw a certain Gandharva in an isolated place in the penance grove. The Gandharva was an expert in the science of erotics. He was in the company of a woman. He was therefore completely submerged in the ocean of pleasure, sexual dalliance, and was lusty. On seeing him the great sage became very lustful. He lost interest in penance and began to think of acquiring a wife. Thus the good sage spent a long time with his mind utterly agitated by pangs of love. Once while he good sage was on his way to the river Puspabhadra for taking his bath, he happened to see the young maiden Padma who was as charming as goddess Lakshmi. The sage asked the person standing by, "Who is this girl?" The people, afraid of the curse, bowed to the sage and replied. The people said, "This excellent lady, the repository of all good qualities, is the daughter of Anaranya and is called Padma. She is another Lakshmi, goddess of fortune. She is being wooed by great kings." Brahma said, on hearing the words of the people who spoke the truth, the sage became much agitated in the mind and was eager to possess her. O mountain, the sage took bath and worshipped his favorite deity Sivaduli. The lustful sage went to the council chamber of Anaranya for the sake of alms. Immediately after seeing the sage, the king was struck with awe and bowed to him. He offered him homage, Madhuparka, and devoutly worshipped him. Out of love, the sage accepted everything and ultimately requested for the hand of his daughter. The king kept quiet, being unable to give any decisive reply. The sage repeated his request saying, "O great king, give me your daughter. Otherwise in a trice I will reduce everything to ashes." The king and his attendants were overwhelmed by the splendor of the sage. Starting at the old emaciated Brahmin, they began to cry. The queens, knowing not what shall be done, lamented. The chief queen, the mother of the girl, fell unconscious in the excess of her grief. The brothers of the girl were agitated with sorrow. O Lord of mountains, everything and everyone connected with the king was overwhelmed with grief. In the meantime the wise Brahmin, the excellent preceptor of the king, as well as his intelligent priest came there. The king bowed to them and paid homage. He cried before them. He explained to them everything and asked them what was the proper step to be taken immediately. The Brahmin, the preceptor of the king, and the scholarly priest were experts in sacred lore and polity. They advised the king in that matter. The preceptor and the priest said, "O wise king, listen to our beneficial words. Do not be anxious. In the company of your kinsmen turn your good attention to the sacred texts. O king, whatever today, or after a year, the princess is to be given to a deserving person, a Brahmin, or anyone else. In the three worlds we do not see more deserving person than this Brahmin. Give your daughter to the sage and save your riches. O king, if all riches face the danger of destruction due to one object or person, the wise man saves everything by abandoning that object or person unless it be that who has sought refuge. Vasistha said, on hearing the words of the wise, the king lamented again and again but ultimately offered his daughter fully bedecked in ornaments to the excellent sage. O mountain, accepting and marrying the beautiful maiden Padma, on par with goddess Laskami, in accordance with holy laws, the delighted sage returned to his abode. After giving his daughter to an old man, the kind was much dejected in mind. Abandoning everything he went to the forest for performing penance. O mountain, when he king went to the forest, the queen passed away, due to the pangs of separation from her husband and daughter. Without the king, the respectable sons and officers of the king became unconscious. The other people thinking that the king was dead lamented much. Anaranya went to the forest, performed great penance, and worshipped Shiva with devotion. In the end, he attained Shivaloka free from all ailments. The eldest son of the king, Kirtiman, virtuously ruled over the kingdom and tended the subjects like his own children. Thus, O mountain, I have narrated to you the auspicious story of Anaranya, how he saved his race and his wealth by offering his daughter to the sage. O king of mountains, you too, give your daughter to Shiva, save the entire family and keep even the gods under your control. Chapter 35 The story of Padma and Pipalata. Narad said, O dear, what did the excellent mountain do after hearing the anecdote of Anaranya and the marriage of his daughter? Please tell me. Brahma said, after hearing the story of Anaranya including the anecdote of the offer of his daughter, the Lord of Mountains again asked Vasistha with palms joined in reverence. The Lord of Mountains said, O leading sage Vasistha, O son of Brahma, O merciful one, you have narrated the wonderful story of Anaranya. What did Padma, the daughter of Anaranya, do after marrying sage Pipalata? Please mention her story fully. Vasistha said, the very old and venerable sage Pipalata returned to his hermitage along with his wife Padma and passed time in pleasure. He was not too much sensuous. He continued to perform his penance and holy rites in the forest and on the mountain. The daughter of Anaranya served the sage devoutly physically, mentally, and verbally like Lakshmi serving Vishnu. Once Dharma, virtue, assumed the guise of a king by his magical power and happened to see on the way that lady of gentle smiles going to the celestial river for her holy dip. The Lord Dharma was seated in a beautiful chariot studded with gems. He was bedecked in many kinds of ornaments. He was in the prime of fresh youth, glorious and lustrous like the Cupid. On seeing Padma he spoke thus, in order to know the innermost feelings of the sage's wife. Dharma said, O beautiful woman, you are Lakshmi herself, you are charming, you are worthy of a king, you are in the very prime of youth, you will be ever young, you are a lovely sweet lady. I am telling you the truth, O slender-limbed lady. You lack luster and color in the presence of the sage Pipalata who is old and weak. Cast off that ruthless old Brahmin always engaged in penances. Look up to me, a great king, heroic in sexual dalliance and agitated by kama. A beautiful woman acquires beauty as a result of the merit of a previous birth. Beauty becomes completely fruitful only after embracing a man of aesthetic nature. I am the lover of 1,000 beautiful women. I am an expert in the erotic science and literature. Abandon that husband and make me your slave. You can indulge in sexual dalliance in the beautiful secluded forests, mountains, and banks of rivers in my company. Make your life fruitful. Vasistha said. Saying this, he got down and was eager to catch her hands. The chaste lady then addressed him thus. Padma said, Away, away, go away, you sinful king. If you cast your lustful ogles at me, you will be doomed in a trice. How can I resort to you, lecherous and mad after women, after forsaking the excellent sage Pipalata, whose body is sanctified by austerities? By the very touch of a person under the influence of women, all merits are destroyed. He is a great sinner. His very sight promotes sins. Even if he performs holy rites, a person succumbing to the vials of women is always impure. The manes, the gods, and all men despise him. Of what avail is knowledge, penance, repetition of sacred mantras, sacrifice, adoration, learning and charitable gift to him who is henpecked? Since you spoke to me viewing me with the feelings that I am your wife, although I ought to have been viewed as your mother, you will have a gradual decline as a result of my curse. Vasistha said, on hearing the curse of the chaste woman, O Lord of mountains, Dharma cast off the guise of a king and assumed his real form. Tremblingly he spoke thus. Dharma said, O mother, know me as Dharma, elderly and venerable to men of wisdom and preceptors. O chaste lady, I always consider others' wives as mothers. It was to know your innermost feelings that I approached you. I knew your mind, still I was urged by fate. Only proper suppression, not the contrary, is carried out by you. Chastisement of those who go astray from the right path is carried out by Shiva himself. Obeisance to Shiva who distributes happiness, misery, boons, prosperity, or adversity on all. Obeisance to Shiva who can make people enemies or friends, create affection, or quarrel, generate or destroy things. Obeisance to Shiva who has made milk white, who has bestowed chillness on water and heat on fire. Obeisance to Shiva, by whom the primordial nature, the principles Maha etc., Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and others are created. Brahma said, after saying thus, Dharma, the most venerable god in the universe, stood in front of her, stunned but delighted at her chastity. But he did not say anything. Princess Padma, the chaste beloved of Pipalata, O Autain, was surprised on realizing that it was Dharma and said. Padma said, O Dharma, you are the ever-present witness of all activities. O Lord, why did you deign to deceive me to know my mind? O Dharma, what has been done already does not amount to any guilt on my part. You have been cursed in vain by me, but it was due to my ignorance and innate nature of woman. I am now thinking as to what shall be done about it. May that idea strike me whereby I may get peace. This sky, these quarters, and the wines may get destroyed, but the cure of a chaste lady will never be destroyed. In the Satya Yuga you shine with all the legs, O King of gods, on all occasions, day or night, like the moon on a full moon night. If you are destroyed, the annihilation of all creations will occur. But a sense of helpless despair is unnecessary. So I shall explain. In the Tritiya Yuga, one leg shall be defunct, O excellent God. Another leg too shall be defunct in Dwapara, and the third one in the Kali age, O Lord. In the latter half of Kali, all the legs will be chopped off. Again in the Satya Yuga you will attain perfection. In the Satya Yuga you will be all-pervasive, and in the other yugas partially so. Thus in accordance with the yugas, you will be maintaining your position. Let these words of mine be true and pleasing to you. I am now going to serve my Hyosand. O Lord, you return to your abode. Brahma said. On hearing her words Dharma became delighted. Then Dharma, the son of Brahma, spoke to the chaste lady who had been speaking to him. Dharma said, O chaste lady, you are blessed, you are devotedly attached to your husband. Hail to you! Take this boon. Your husband is the cause of your great protection. Let him be a young man with sexual vigor and righteousness. He shall be comely in appearance, good in conduct, eloquent in speech, and perpetually stable in youth. Let him enjoy more longevity than Markandeya. Let him be richer than Kabura. Let him enjoy more prosperity and power than Indra. Let him be a devotee of Shiva on a par with Vishnu. Let him be a greater Siddha than Kapila. Let him vie with Brahaspati in intelligence and with Brahma in equanimity. You will be blessed with all the fortunes of your master as long as you live. Also you will be perpetually young. Undoubtedly you will become the mother of 10 sons who will be greater than your husband. They will have all good qualities and live long. O chaste lady, let your abode be endowed with all riches, brightly illuminated always and superior to even the abode of Kabura. Vasistha said, O excellent mountain, after saying thus, Dharma stood quiet there. She circumambulated him, bowed to him and returned to her house. Bestowing blessings upon her, Dharma returned to his abode. He praised Padma lovingly in every assembly he visited. Markandeya was the son of Mrganda, remarkable for his austerities and great age. He is represented as one of the 7 persons who are considered to be deathless. The 7 deathless persons are Aswathama, Bali, Vyasa, Hanuman, Vibhisan, Krupa, and Parashurama. She sported about in secret with her husband who became a young man. She gave birth to sons who surpassed her husband in their good qualities. All kinds of riches were granted to the couple, increasing their happiness. They were conducive to the prosperity here and hereafter. O Lord of mountains, this ancient story of the couple has been narrated to you. You have heard the story with pleasure and respect. Knowing the real situation, give your daughter Parvati to Shiva. Cast off sins, O Lord of mountains, in the company of your wife Meena. After a week there is a very auspicious hour, very rare to meet with. The presiding planet of the Lagna is in the Lagna. The moon is in conjunction with the sun, Mercury, as well as the constellation Rohini. The moon and the stars occupy pure positions. The month is Margasirsa and the day is Monday, free from all defects. All the planets are in auspicious conjunction. They are not aspected by the evil planets. The Jupiter is in a position that is conducive to the birth of a good child and all good fortune to the bridegroom. O Lord of mountains, give your daughter Parvati, the mother of the universe, the primordial being, to Shiva, the father of the universe. You will then get quiet and contentment. Brahma said. After saying this, the excellent sage Vasistha, most excellent of wise men, stopped after remembering Lord Shiva, the creator of divine sports of diverse varieties. Chapter 36, The Statements of the 7 Sages. Brahma said, on hearing the words of the 7 sages, Himachala, his wife, and attendants were very much surprised. The Lord of the mountains spoke to the other mountains. Himachala said, O Lord of mountains, Meru, O Sahaya, O Gandhamadana, O Mandara, O Manaka, O Vindhya, all of you listen to my words. Vasistha says like this. It is to be considered what I shall do now. You consider well, decide and let me know. Brahma said, on hearing his words, Sumeru and other mountains decided carefully and spoke to Himalaya lovingly. The mountains said, of what avail is a long discussion and deliberation now? What should be done is only that. She is born only for the purpose of the gods. Incarnating for the sake of Shiva, she shall be given to Shiva. Shiva has been propitiated by her and Shiva has also spoken to her. Gandhamadan is that part of the Himalayas on which the Badarikasrama is situated. The name Vindhya is applied to the whole chain of hills running from Gujarat to the Gai region and lying on both sides of the Narmada river. Brahma said, on hearing the words of Meru and others, Himachala was greatly pleased and Parvati laughed within herself. Arundhati too convinced Meena with reasoned statements and examples from various mythological legends. Then the wife of the mountain Oo was delightedly convinced. She entertained Arundhati, the sages, and the mountain with a grand feast and then took food herself. Then the chief of mountains, freed from wrong notions and grown wise, spoke with palsam joined in reverence and mind extremely delighted. Himachala said, O fortunate sages, please listen to my words. All my bewilderment has vanished since I have heard the story of Shiv and Shiva. Everything that I possess, my Bdy, wife, Meena, sons, daughter, assets and achievements and other things belong to Shiva and not otherwise. Brahma said, after saying so, he bedecked his daughter with various ornaments. Then he took them all and placed them on the lap of the sage saying, these are the presents I have to give her. The sages said, O mountain, you are the donor, Shiva is the mendicant, and the alms goddess Parvati. What else can be better than this? Since the course of your summits is befitting, you are blessed, you are the chief of all mountains, you are great in every respect. Brahma said, after saying thus, the sages of pure mind offered their blessings to the girl be pleasing to Shiva. They touched her with their hands and continued, everything will be well with you. As the moon in the bright half of the month, may your qualities increase. After saying thus and offering fruits and flowers to the Lord of mountains, he sages made him believe that the alliance was a settled fact. The great chaste lady Arundhati tempted Meena further with Shiva's good qualities. According to the worldly convention, they smeared the mustache of the mountain with powdered turmeric and saffron as an auspicious custom. After fixing the auspicious lagna for the marriage and congratulating and complimenting one another, the sages came to Shiva's abode on the fourth day. After reaching the place, Vasistha and other sages bowed to Shiva and eulogized him with different hymns. They then spoke to Lord Shiva. The sages said, O Lord Shiva, Lord of the gods, O great Lord Shiva, please listen lovingly to the narration of what we, your attendants, have done. O great Lord, the Lord of mountains and Meena have been urged with different kinds of statements and examples from mythological legends. Undoubtedly he is enlightened. Parvati has been betrothed to you by the Lord of mountains. It is not otherwise. Now please start for the marriage with your attendants and the gods. O great gods, O Lord, go to the abode of Himachala and marry Parvati in accordance with the customs for the sake of a son. Brahma said, on hearing their words, Lord Siva, who was delighted and who loved to follow worldly conventions, laughed and said, Lord Shiva said, O fortunate one, a marriage ceremony has never been witnessed nor even heard of by me before. The details of the same shall be mentioned by you all, specifically. Brahma said, on hearing these words in a worldly vein uttered by Shiva, they laughingly replied to Sadashiva, Lord of the gods. The sages said, please invite and summon Vishnu with his retinue, Brahma with his sons, Lord Indra, all the sages, Yaksas, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, heavenly nymphs, and others. All of them will jointly accomplish everything for you. There is no doubt about it. Brahma said, saying this and taking his permission, the 7 sages joyfully returned to their abodes praising the way of Shiva.